I founded a youth summer hockey league in my city when I was 16 years old. Hi, my name's Justinblanchet, and let me bring you back to the roots of where the whole idea became a thing. So this is my grade 11 marketing classroom, and this is the spot that I was sitting at when I first thought up the idea. I was researching on the computer some summer programs, and then that's where I realized that we had a lot of training opportunities, a lot of programs where there was a teacher, where there was a instructor, but we didn't have any options for people that wanted to play in a league and just play games. So after doing that research, I brought all my ideas home and started building the business plan. So now that you saw the classroom that I was in, where the whole idea came up and became a thing, let me tell you a little bit about myself before I kind of dive into the brand that I've currently created and that I'm currently running right now. So bringing you back to my childhood, I have always been a hockey player. I've always been interested in sports. I've been playing hockey since I was 7, so I absolutely love hockey. And in terms of entrepreneurial ventures, I've always had like some sort of entrepreneurial venture going on, but I didn't really know at first that I always wanted to be an entrepreneur until like 2 or 3 years ago. And then it really hit me that like when I was growing up, I've done so many different entrepreneurial stuff, and it's actually really interesting to me, and it's something that I want to do for the rest of my life because I really enjoy the aspect of serving people, solving people's problems, adding value to people's lives. So bringing you back to when I was younger, my first ever entrepreneurial venture was a driveway shop that I ran and managed with a few of the kids in my neighborhood. So one of them would run production, doing like making rain balloon bracelets, selling lemonade. Another person would be doing sales, like counting money. And then we had another person that would be like security, because we thought that was funny back then. But it was a ton of fun, and it was such a great experience. And dating back to it, it was probably one of my favorite things I ever did when I was younger. It was super fun, and we had such a great time, and we made actually like probably a couple $100s from it over a couple summers. So that was pretty cool, and it was my first taste at ever making my own money and kind of like, I guess, working for myself. With that being said, the next entrepreneurial venture after that was a few years later. This would have been when I was 13 or 14 years old, 13 years old, I think. I grew a TikTok account to over 150,000 followers without showing my face, because I didn't want anyone knowing that it was my account at the time. And I used to go live on it, and I had this blank shirt right here. I still have it to this day. And I would write down usernames of people that sent gifts. And the higher the gift, the bigger the username. And I would underline it and offer different incentives like that to encourage people to send a bigger gift and kind of get a bigger reward on the shirt. And people loved it so much. Just the aspect of seeing their own name being written down on someone else's shirt from somewhere else in the world was interesting for some reason. And it was super fun. And I did that for a few months and made a little bit of money from that as well, that I put into savings. But as you can imagine, I eventually outgrew it, and I no longer had interest in doing that anymore. It was kind of just a phase. So I stopped doing that. I privated the TikTok account. I didn't want anyone to see any of the videos, and I don't even have access to it today, but I'm happy that it's there, and I don't want to get rid of it. It was actually really fun, and it gave me so much experience in social media. I remember coming home and watching videos nonstop on YouTube, how to go viral, how to use the TikTok algorithm, how to use the Instagram algorithm well, and different stuff like that. And I learned a ton, and it was such a great experience. And I'm super grateful that I had that experience with social media at that young age, and that kind of idea of making money online. It was my first taste at ever making money online. So after that, I tried drop shipping, as most high school students that want to be entrepreneurs or want to work for themselves try, because when you go on the internet, it's portrayed as this thing of get rich while you sleep overnight kind of thing. And drop shipping was something that didn't last very long. And not because I failed in it and I quit that way. It was just because the interest and the love for it wasn't there from the start. And I've seen a lot of people that have been very successful from drop shipping, but I believe that was a phase. Like coming into the modern day now in 2025, consumers have changed their ways, with Amazon especially. It's much harder to sell someone in drop shipping than it was back in 2016, for example. So although people are still successful today doing it, there's very few, and that love wasn't there. I didn't really enjoy the idea of selling a product from China and upselling it to people in North America and making money that way. I really wanted to create my own product or service and have my own brand that I can run the way I want to run it, and really make it an experience-based brand that's focused on quality and service. And that's kind of why I just kind of veered away from that idea, and that was just a very short phase that lasted maybe less than a month. So after dropship, and I did get a couple sales from that as well. Anyways, past that, this was my next business idea. So this one I'm the most grateful for, besides the hockey league, of course, but it was such a great experience, and I cannot even tell you how many valuable lessons I learned, and I couldn't be more grateful and fortunate that I learned those lessons at the younger age I did. I was in grade 10 at the time. I think I was 15 years old, and it was social media management for a thrift store in Barrie, in my city. So how I got the job, how I got the entrepreneurial gig, I was literally on Google Maps one day in English class, and I always liked making websites. I made it for the drop shipping. I made my own website. I've made websites in school projects. I've also made websites for a couple friends that wanted to start their own businesses. So websites has been something that was really always in my interest. And then also social media management kind of tied into my interest for content creation. That interest was still always there. I just no longer wanted to do it in the form that I was doing it before. That was always there, so I knew that I could offer something to do with, and all the stuff I learned from the algorithm, something to do with social media management and building a website. So I went on Google Maps and I literally just looked at businesses that didn't have websites and checked out their social media pages that weren't very active on their pages, and I just started cold calling, and that was literally it. And one time I was in class and I cold called this company, the company that I ended up working with, and the owner answered, and he said that him and his wife had just been talking about the night before that they needed someone to do their social media. So he thought it was like a miracle that I ended up calling him the next day, offering him that exact service. So of course he was interested. He was very surprised that he got a call offering that, and I was super happy. It was just a right place, right time kind of thing. And I gave him my email. He ended up following up. We had a meeting and I ended up working for him. So we agreed to $350 per month, and I would manage his TikTok page and also do a little bit of the Instagram. So we did that for about 5 months, and then that story ended. We ended up splitting our separate ways. I have a funny story about that. I'll save it for another time. Few people know it. If you know, you know. But I learned a very valuable lesson that sometimes people that you can trust most, like the business partners, be very selective, that they can be the ones that can actually screw you over. And I was super happy that I learned that lesson, and I had to learn it the hard way, but like I said, I'm fortunate for it because now I know for the future, and it was definitely an important one. It was a hard thing to swallow because it was really something I liked, a hard pill to swallow, but now I'm grateful for it looking back on it now. So we ended up splitting ways after 5 months or so. But anyways, now the part that you guys have been waiting for. Fast forward, in grade 11 in marketing class, I showed you guys the classroom I was in. That's the idea where I came up with opening the Barrie Youth Hockey League. And the reason why is because I wanted to do something that involves hockey. I love hockey so much, and I also play it, so I can really relate to the players in my league. I know what it's like. I know the experience I want to offer because I know how I want to feel when I'm playing hockey. So it was something I was definitely experienced in. And I've always wanted to do something that services the youth community as well, being one myself, and once again, being able to relate to them. So that's kind of when it was like, it just light bulbs went off. The fact that we had no summer youth hockey that was 5-on-5 in our community or nearby. The closest 5-on-5 summer hockey that I could find was down in Toronto, which is about an hour and a little bit drive from Barrie. The only option we've had here for the longest time has been the 3-on-3 NTR program, which is a great program. I've played in it myself. There's some wonderful people that are in that program, great instructors that are at the NTR too. However, it's on a reduced size rink and it's 3-on-3. And I wanted to be able to offer 5-on-5 where kids could stay playing their positions. They could still, make new friends, but play with refs, with coaches on a full-size ice surface. So when I realized that we have nothing here that services them, it drove me to create and found the Barrie Youth Hockey League. So the Barrie Youth Hockey League was founded in the summer of 2024. And as I mentioned, I've played in those leagues in Toronto, and the drive back and forth was not fun. So it's kind of like solving my own problem from when I was younger. I never enjoyed that, and I wish that when I was younger there was an option that was here in Barrie for me to play in, that was 5-on-5, and there wasn't. So I'm super happy to be able to offer that to the children in my league and to all the families that have signed up. I'm super happy to offer that to them. So in 2024, my first year of founding it, it was 2 age groups. 11 and 12-year-olds. There was 51 players, which is super exciting, and 4 teams, 8-week season. The players play once a week for 8 weeks. And it was super, super successful. We did a feedback form at the end, and parents loved it. Kids had smiles on their faces. It was a community like I wanted it to be, an experience-based league. We tracked player stats. We did a live action photographer there and a few other stuff like that really tried to enhance that experience of people and the children that were playing in the league, and they really enjoyed it. And seeing their smiles and hearing all the positive feedback and some also very helpful suggestions that I've now implemented this year, that's what really drive me from going from that 51 and being able to expand it this year to more age groups, so more children are able to play in my league and get the opportunity, not just 11 and 12-year-olds. So this summer I expanded it from 9 to 14-year-olds, so 9 and 10 in one division, 11, 12, 13, 14. So basically, before I had the 1 division with 2 age groups, and now I have 3 divisions with 6 age groups total. So this summer, I'm excited and very happy to announce that there'll be roughly between 190 to 196 kids, which is just less than a 4-time expansion from last summer, which I'm super humbled to say that, and super grateful and just super happy. Like, I'm beyond happy to be able to offer this to more kids and let more kids have the same experience, if not better, than the 51 had last year. And I'm also very happy to welcome the families back. I think we had 80% of the families return. So people really did enjoy it from last summer. And we're going to be hopping into this summer at the end of June. So it's actually coming up. Our first session is coming up, and I could not be more excited. But one thing we really focus on too is affordability, and one thing that's huge in my brand is community. This year we'll be supporting the Berry Food Bank. I'd like to also support other charities and do other things where we can that gives back to the community. And then, as I said, keeping the league affordable. So relying on the generosity of sponsorships as well definitely does really help. Also, I didn't make anything from the league last year at all. I put everything back into the business. That's how dedicated I am and how much I really want to grow the business and really turn the brand into something great, where so many kids are given the opportunity to play over the summer. So I'm super excited to take you guys along the journey this summer. I'll be posting often on this channel. For now, without further ado, thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe. Also click the like button. It does show the YouTube algorithm that people do like the video, and it might push the video out to more people. So I would appreciate it if you do click the like and subscribe as well. Thank you so much for watching, and I look forward to talking to you guys in the next one.